Jose Pachaca was a body thrown into a hide. The hide was a hide thrown into a shack. The shack was a shack thrown onto a hill. Petrona Pulunto was this bomb's ma.
Hey! Hey! Hey, son, open your eyes. I even forgot what color they are.
Jose Pachaca moaned. And the most he could get out of him was that he took his leg.
What do you want, Mom?
All I'm saying is that it's time to do something. Lord knows that you is a grown man.
Somehow, the lazy guy regenerated himself. He kept living and became sad and yawned.
All right.
One day, Eulogio Isho entered the house carrying a dingus. It resembled a stone frog that he had found when plowing. The frog had 3 holes, one for a mouth and 2 for the eyes. It also had a necklace of small beads.
What an ugly thing,
He said as he entered the shack. He roared with laughter.
It looks like Kant, the one-eyed pirate.
He left it there for Maria Elena's girls to play with.
Hey, what are you doing?
Mama! 2 days later, elderly Basciuto arrived at the house. And looking at the frog, he said,
These things are ancient words of our ancestors. There are plenty of these objects in the plowing field. One day, you can also find jars filled with gold.
Finally, the not very bright Jose Pachaca made an effort to think, wrinkling the skin between his eyes.
What do you mean, your bachito?
Basciuto took the cigar out of his mouth, and he held a gob as big, as loud as the snap of a kite sandal.
It's a matter of luck, man. You are plowing and plush. All of a sudden, you hit the jars, and that's it. You're rich.
Holy cow, Senor Bachito. Is that so?
That is what I just said.
Basciuto sucked on his cigar with all the might of his wrinkles, and his thoughts were lost in the smoke. Then he proceeded to tell of 1,000 discoveries of the magical jugs, all of which he had witnessed with his own 2 eyes. When he left, he did so without realizing that shells of his stories were left behind with Jose.
Petrona Pulunto died around that time.
He stole mahonchos to eat and decided to look for the mythical jugs. He put himself behind a plow and pushed. His eyes were plowing behind the blade. That was how Jose Pachaca became the laziest but at the same time the most hard-working of all men in the area. He worked without working, at least without realizing it, and he worked so much that the reddish hours of sunset always found him sweaty, with one hand still on the plow and his eyes still on the road.
He didn't work. He looked for botijas filled with golden bambas. As he grew more powerful, so did his obsession. Greed more than hunger had enlivened his body and had driven him to the slopes of the hills. There he plowed and plowed, from the rooster's crow that swallowed the stars, until the time in which the laughing falcon, bellowing and lugubrious, perched in the branches of the ceiba trees, breaks the silence with its discordant racket. He had to gather the harvest, and he had to receive the abundant pay. Without concern, he amassed his remuneration in a hidey hole in his shack, just in case. No other farmer felt brave enough to work as hard as Jose.
Wow, it's an Iron Man.
What's with Jose? Suddenly he's making big bucks. He must have a big stash by now.
According to his neighbors, he had become not only hardworking, but even generous. When he ran out of his own land to plow, he helped others. He told them to go rest and stay there plowing for them.
Where is you hiding? Stupid thing.
He thought without giving up.
And I find you, even though you don't want me to. Even if I need to break my back, flowing in the furrows.
And that's what happened, not the fighting, but the breaking. One day at the hour when the sky turns green and the rivers become white lines on the plains, Jose Pachaca realized that there weren't any more botijas. Finally a sign. He broke down in the field. He fainted with fever. Jose Pachaca became very ill. He didn't want anyone to take care of him. He lived all alone in his shack since Petrona had died. One night, he plucked up his courage. He went out stealthily carrying his money in an old clay jug. He began to dig a hole with his curved machete. Whenever he heard noises, he dug down in the bushes. He moaned at times. Exhausted but with determination, continued his task. He put the treasure in the hole. He covered it well, brushing away all the traces of removed dirt. Jose stretched his branch like arms toward the stars and spoke these words wrapped in a sigh.
All right. So now, nobody can say there ain't no more botijas in the fields.